The 28th meeting of the Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or COP28, gets underway in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates today. President Cyril Ramaphosa will join other leaders at this gathering. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has told world leaders that the burning of fossil fuels must be stopped immediately. Guterres says a reduction in their use will not be enough to stop global warming. He has urged fossil fuel companies to invest in a transition to renewable energy sources and told governments to help by forcing that change, including through the use of windfall taxes on industry profits.
It's true. Our world is unequal and divided. As we see in this region, conflicts are causing immense suffering and intense emotion. We just had the news that the bombs are sounding again in Gaza. And climate chaos is fanning the flames of injustice. Global heating is busting budgets, ballooning food prices, upending energy markets, and feeding a cost of living crisis. But climate action can flip the switch. And renewable energy is the gift that keeps on giving. It's good for our planet, our health, and our economies, cleaning our air, meeting the world's growing energy demand, connecting millions of people to affordable electricity, bringing stability and security to markets, and saving money, as renewable energy has never been cheaper.
SABC International News Editor Sophie Mokoena is at the summit and joins us. A very good afternoon to you. Big announcements about a climate fund for what are sometimes referred to as poorer nations. Just take us through what's happening at COP28.
Well, earlier on, as you pointed out, and you had the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, delivered a very powerful speech calling on the heads of state and government not to just talk about pledges, but they must be practical in terms of what they are doing. And we immediately saw the host nation in Dubai pledging $30 billion aimed at addressing the issues related to fossil fuel. As you know, this is a Gulf region where they are really dependent on oil. And later on, it was the King of Britain also making a similar pledge and commitment, also calling on leaders to ensure that the commitments they made at the Paris summit are implemented. And that is why we are talking about the global stocktake. Global stocktake, you're looking at whether there has been implementation of agreements reached in different meetings since then. But to talk about business, you know, South Africa has got a pavilion. At the pavilion, you have South African companies showcasing their work, but also participating at this climate summit. You know that governments can't do it on their own. They really need business. And I'm going to speak to the Chief Strategy and Sustainability at ABSA, Punki Modise. Punki, dumela.
Dumela, Mama. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Let's talk about the role of business. You wrote an article talking about the importance of business being involved and what needs to be done. Can you take us through to issues that you raised?
Yeah, so from my side, Sophie, there were about 5 core issues that I raised, but I'll only talk to 2. So first of all, I think it's exciting just to hear that, this particular COP is going to be focusing on stocktake. And stocktake is important because it gives us an opportunity to course correct if things are not moving in the right direction. So I think that's a good thing. And then secondly is the main wish list for me was, seeing the implementation of loss and damage. And I think the South African negotiating team has done a fantastic job because we got great news this morning that it's been accepted, the loss and damage package, when in the past it took forever, I think, at COP27 in Egypt for an agreement to be reached. It was actually an overnight, thing that was achieved right at the end of COP27. So coming into COP28 and hearing the good news that we are going to be implementing loss and damage, it's actually quite great. And I think loss and damage is important, in particular for the continent, given the fact that it's going to start to address the realities of the continent, which deal with the fact that we are vulnerable and we don't have sufficient funding, I think, to drive forward the green agenda. So this, in my mind, is a great step in the right direction.
Well, the issue of financial institutions is quite critical. Yes, you have your World Bank, you have your IMF, you have the African Development Bank, but country to country, commercial financial institutions such as ABSA must also assist countries where they are operating, and ABSA is on the continent. Do you think your company is willing to partner with governments on the continent to assist them? Yes, you don't have money that IMF has and World Bank, but you can do something. What is it that you can do in your small way as commercial banks to assist South Africa, but the continent where you are operating?
Yeah, I think partnering is actually the word to talk to, because without effective partnerships, we cannot do much, I think, in this space. So if I look at ABSA, in 2020, we already mobilized 100 billion, to support the transition. And to this point in time, 67 billion of that 100 billion has already, been committed, which demonstrates the fact that, as a private institution, we are playing a part in terms of, solving some of the issues relating to climate change. And for this COP, my biggest wish is obviously to ensure that we can expand, some of the tools and capabilities that are available out there to ensure that, the 100 billion commitment that's coming from the World Bank and the big financial institutions can actually be exercised, and then we can see greater traction going forward in this important agenda.
The issue of women and the youth is quite critical. How do we ensure that they are not left behind?
I absolutely agree with you on the issue of youth and women. So as an organization, ABSA, when you look at our strategy, we're quite clear the fact that, we subscribe to the concept of just transition. And for us, just transition, when you look at, which cohorts of people are going to be impacted. Firstly, for us, it's women, given the fact that as a continent, I think we are endowed with women, but also at the same time, youth, and ensuring that we can provide opportunities for both those two core segments of the market as we go forward. So this is an opportunity really for both women and youth to take on. In my mind, that is the thing that will unlock opportunities for the continent.
Thank you so much for your time. There you have it, Nzinga. Business is here. They are here in numbers, including business from South Africa. They are committed to assist, particularly the continent in general, because most of the companies that are here, they are operating on the African continent. And in around an hour from now, the president will be here at the pavilion, and perhaps we'll get a sense of President Ramaphosa's view since his arrival. And of course, we are hoping, if all goes well, I'll be also in conversation with the Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa, and let's hope that interview I'll be able to bring it live to SABC viewers.